time for another high-fat carnivore update. Today I'm going to share with you how much weight I've lost, why I have quit doing any high-protein PSMF days, and how I've been feeling. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. I've been on the carnivore diet now for about 22 months, so coming up 2 years. And I've been eating a high-fat carnivore diet now for about just a couple of days over a month. So it is Easter weekend. Happy Easter. It's Easter Monday here in New Zealand, and we've been away this weekend for a couple of days to visit my parents, which was quite nice. We got home yesterday, and so today I've been busy in the kitchen this morning making tallow balm and making some sauerkraut as well, because we do eat sauerkraut. So today I'm going to give an update, as I said, on my high-fat carnivore diet, why I have stopped doing the protein-sparing modified fasts, and I'm going to share with you how much weight I've lost, and etc, etc. So first of all, I just want to say that I am wearing my Meet My Diet t-shirt, and I will tag that, so if you want to check that out in my store, it'll be on the corner, maybe try to find it, this corner of the video, I think. All right, so the reason, if you haven't watched any of my videos, the reason I decided to try the high-fat carnivore diet is something I've been thinking about for ages, but I couldn't do it earlier because I had to kind of limit my fat, because I had many months of diarrhea. I had chronic diarrhea before I started on the carnivore diet, and it carried on being an issue until I actually really addressed what I realized was probably a SIBO issue. And so I've pretty much got it under control now most of the time, but it doesn't take much to upset it still. And so when I decided to try the high-fat carnivore diet, of course, the whole diarrhea thing kicked off again, but that's common anyway, depending on how well your gallbladder's working and your liver's working. So I had a good couple of weeks, a little bit longer, maybe the first 3 weeks, especially the first 2 weeks, where I had quite a lot of diarrhea and really loose bowels. But things have gotten a lot better, and especially over the last week or so, so things were improving quite a bit. But I'd had a few people who had mentioned a supplement called TUDCA to me, and it's not something I'd ever actually heard of. So I'd bought ox bile again, and I was taking ox bile, realized that I was taking it completely wrong because I was taking it with my meals, so I was actually making my diarrhea worse. Did not realize that. And so I stopped actually taking the ox bile again, and then I went and looked at this TUDCA stuff. I thought, what the hell is this stuff? Because I'd kind of had a bit of a look and thought, oh, it's just another bile acid. Like, why would I take that over ox bile? But it's quite different. It's actually a synthetic form. I mean, they used to get TUDCA apparently from bears, so it was extracted from bears' gallbladders. Now it's made synthetically, and that was another thing that kind of put me off initially. I was like, synthetic, always a bit kind of dubious about synthetic stuff. But when I actually looked at what it does and looked at the results that people get, I decided, I think I'm gonna try this stuff. So I'm actually taking TUDCA. I'll be doing more videos on that, on how that's going in the future, probably not the too distant future, so keep an eye out for those. But so far I've only been taking it for a handful of days, but so far it seems to be making a difference. So the high-fat carnivore diet has made me feel, it makes me feel a lot better. It makes me happier mentally. It makes me just feel better, and it has definitely broken my weight loss stall, which I'll talk about at the end of this video. So with regards to the protein sparing modified fast, so I decided to try that last week. My thought was that I might try doing a high protein day, maybe 3 days a week, alternate days with the high fat to start with, and see how that went. And then I thought I might put 2 or 3 days together, because some people do that. So what I did was I did a high protein day and then a high fat day and then a high protein day, then a high fat day and then another high protein day. By the time I got to that third high protein day, I felt really deprived. Even on the first and the second day. The first day wasn't too bad because it was a new thing and it was like, oh, this is a bit different. But yeah, the second day and definitely the third day, I was feeling quite deprived. I was kind of on the hunt for other things that I could eat. And I was actually on Maria Emmerich's website looking for ideas for things that I could make, you know. I think it was on the second day, I had chicken breast for dinner, and it was just it was revolting. It was organic chicken breast, and because there was no fat or anything with it, I just air fried it, I think, and it was just horrible. It was dry and it was tough, and I was just like, oh my God, there's no wonder I very rarely buy chicken breast. I mean, it's got no, you have to have fat with it, otherwise it's just not good. And so I kind of chewed my way through that, and I was just like, oh, this is horrible. And then on the third day, I kind of, as I said, I was on the hunt for ideas and I was looking for other things that I could eat. And on Maria Emmerich's website, I saw her making these little meringue cookie things. And so I had a look at that and I thought, oh, I could do that with some bone broth powder. So I have bone broth powder in there that's vanilla flavour, and it's sweetened with monk fruit or stevia or something. And so I made a batch up with that. And I mean, they tasted okay, but between hubby and I, we ate the whole lot, and it really felt to me like that binging behaviour that I used to do before. And I thought, this is not a good place for me to be. Just mentally, it's not a good place. And with the eating side of things, it's not a good place, because even after I ate those, I was still kind of looking, what else could I eat? What else could I eat? Because I just felt like I hadn't had enough. I wasn't hungry, but it was this kind of, that, I don't know, deprived feeling, and just feeling like my body hadn't had what it needed, you know. And I'd been feeling so good on the high fat that I just thought, you know what, I am not doing this. I actually watched that night a video, I think it was Kelly Hogan, and I'm not sure who it was with her, someone else. And they basically said, you know, something on there to the effect, you know, do what makes you feel good, like pay attention to the way food makes you feel. And that high protein, no fat thing just made me feel bad. And so I didn't sleep properly or anything. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. So I thought, I'm not doing that. And so I decided just to stick with the high fat carnivore diet, and that's what I'm doing. And so as soon as I was back just eating that way, I was feeling great again. And as I said, you know, we've just been over to mum and dad's for a couple of days, and so I didn't track anything over there. I just ate, you know, and I came home and I weighed myself this morning, and I was down another 200 grams. So the high fat carnivore diet has definitely broken the stall that I've been in for, I don't know how long, months and months and months. It's been a long time since I've actually dropped any weight. So what am I eating? So basically I'm eating around about kind of 70-80% of my calories is fat. I've been aiming for around about 100 grams of protein a day, and I've been kind of considering bumping that up a little bit. It was definitely up over the weekend while we were away. As I said, I wasn't tracking, I was just eating, so my protein definitely would have been higher over the weekend. I was eating 3 meals a day, but the last few days I've been eating either 2 or 3. While I was away, yeah, either 2 or 3. I've been making sure I have breakfast every morning when I get up. Sometimes I don't have lunch, and I just go with my hunger through the day, and it seems to be working. I actually wake up hungry now, which is interesting. Like I found, like, even this morning, you know, I wake up and it's like 5:45 and I'm hungry when I wake up, which is really unusual. So something's kind of changing. When I'm taking my temperature, I've been up around the 37 degrees. Been taking my temperature in the morning and then sometimes through the day, and I've quite often been up around that 37 degrees, 36.9. I think there was one day where I was 37.1, something like that. And that's unusual for me. So I kind of figure that something is changing there. I'm still not taking the iodine. I've laid off that for now. Partly because the TUDCA can also increase thyroid production or conversion. I think it increases the conversion in the liver, so from T4 to T3. So I thought I might have some iodine in the next couple of days, but I'll probably only do it about twice a week and see how that goes. So what I've actually been eating most of the time for breakfast, the last few days, I've just been having poached eggs with some butter or some butter mayo or tallow and butter mayo I've got in the fridge at the moment. And then if I have lunch, that might be some bacon and a couple of eggs, or it might be some leftover meat. I mean, I cooked a beef roast the other night to take over to Mum and Dad's so that we had some cold meat to eat for lunches and things. So, for example, today I just had some cold roast beef with some butter and salt. And then for dinner, we might have some steak or something. Last night we had pork loin chop, and I had a little bit of beef because I hadn't had lunch yesterday, so I had a little bit of cold roast beef and just some butter and butter and tallow mayo that I've got in the fridge at the moment. I had some of that. That's the way that I kind of increase my fat to where I want it if I need to. So I'll have egg yolks sometimes with dinner to increase fat, and I'll also have quite often either butter or butter mayo or tallow and butter mayo. I tend to mix them up and use those. So I found that they're a good way to add fat. I did have a couple of weeks ago some avocado, which I hadn't had for like close to 2 years. Since I've been on carnivore, I hadn't eaten avocado. And so I bought a couple of avocados, and I had some of that, and I quite enjoyed it, and it didn't cause me any problems. So I've just bought a couple more when I was over at Mum and Dad's, and they're not ripe yet, but they add a bit of extra fat as well. It's just something different, and they're a good source of potassium. So I thought I might eat them every now and then. I don't know whether I'll keep eating them or not, but that won't be an everyday thing for definite. Just occasionally, just for something different. The other thing that kind of changed things up a bit for me last week was that I broke a tooth, and I mentioned that in one of my videos. I broke one of my top teeth that had been cracked for a while after having a dodgy filling done by a dentist that wasn't right, and it finally broke. I was eating breakfast and it broke, and it was split down the middle, and the inside but it was all still there, all still attached, and the inside was moving, and it just kind of stressed me out lots. And so I had a couple of days with the broken tooth in my mouth, and then I had to go and get the tooth out. So the tooth was pulled out a week past on Friday. So I basically had a week and a half where I couldn't do kind of really any exercise or anything because I'd been getting onto my rebounder every day, and so I haven't done that basically since I broke the tooth. So I will be getting on there at some point today and getting back into that, and I also want to get back into some more kind of regular weight training. So that's kind of my plan, because I haven't really been doing a whole lot of exercise since I've been on carnivore. It's been really sporadic and kind of all over the place. But yeah, the rebounding, I figured if I can do that, and then I might have a go at skipping. And hubby and I were doing sprints as well, but I stopped doing the sprinting probably maybe 3 weeks ago, I guess, probably around the time I started the high-fat carnivore diet, I think, because I kept injuring myself. And so that's where I thought, if I get on the rebounder and do some rebounding, then that's going to help to strengthen some of those joints and muscles up a little bit, and then I can perhaps be a little bit more successful at the sprinting with a bit of luck, because it's not really sprinting, it's more like lumbering across the grass, because I haven't run for 10 years, and I was quite surprised at how unbendy and how heavy and clunky everything felt. It was quite disturbing when I first started doing. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now. My weight loss, I am down 3 kilos, or about 6.5 pounds in a month. So I am really very happy with that, especially considering the stress after having my tooth pulled out. So that's something that I haven't really spoken too much about. I've spoken in some of my videos about how I had vertigo prior to going onto carnivore. So I'd had vertigo off and on for over 10 years. Since 2008 I started having problems with vertigo, and it was stress that brought that on initially, and basically adrenal fatigue. And a lot of people don't realize that adrenal fatigue can cause vertigo, but it does. And so I had quite severe vertigo for a while, and then it would happen off and on, and then it's been sporadic ever since, and it's been not too bad since I've been on carnivore. I haven't had too much trouble with it. It's been kind of rarer and rarer, but when I broke my tooth and then having to go to the dentist and have that tooth pulled out, I found my vertigo kicking in again. So even the morning of going to the dentist, I got vertigo. I was standing in the shower and I got it, and I noticed that I was getting it even getting out of bed in the morning, which is something that used to happen a lot. I'd have to sit up and sit on the edge of the bed because my head, everything would spin, and if I stood up, I was going to fall over. So that has been happening again, but it's starting to settle down again now, but over that week. So the weight loss that I've had, I'm actually surprised how much weight loss I've had with that week or week and a half of stress, basically, after having my tooth pulled out. So because all that plays a part. So I'm quite happy with that, with the result so far. So my plan is to just continue on the high-fat carnivore diet, and I might play around with my ratios a little bit. I'll see how I go. I'm not being really fixed at the moment with the amounts that I'm eating. I'm backtracking again from today, but I'll see how it goes. And as I've said before, I'm not really anal about this stuff. I'm not really fixed on a specific way of doing things, but I'm just experimenting to see what happens in my body. So yeah, so that's it for today. If you've got any comments or questions, please fire away below. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe and like and share if you want to do that. That really helps to support my channel. And I thank you very much for watching and listening to me, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.